Hello. Oh, this thing is freezing again. Oh my days.
What's up, African Fight Fam? It's your boy JB back at it again with another episode of the African Fighters podcast. Well, as you always know, this is the place that we learn together. Our technical issues are always coming, so whenever you see any glitching or anything going on, just stay with us. It's normal. We've At this point we've never had a hitch-free episode. But with that being said, today I'm back at it again with same old Toby Adiremi from Lagos, Nigeria. Toby, what's up? Oh God, are we starting? And he walks off the shot. Yeah, Toby walks off the shot. Okay, guys. So what's going to happen is I am gonna try to fly solo until we get Toby back and properly set up. Yep. Yeah. So it's the African Fighters Podcast. And yeah, we've got a lot of interesting things to go through. Yeah, so we are gonna go through. Well, it's fight week. There's a very big important fight for an African fighter in the UFC. That African fighter is Dricus Still Knocks Du Plessis, where he goes head to head with Robert Whittiker. So yeah, speaking of the devil, Toby is back. Yo, Toby, what's up? Toby?
I'm good, man. Nice to be here once again. Another episode coming straight to your streaming sites wherever you're watching this.
Oh
Let's
gosh.
get the show
Guys,
started.
I apologize. I apologize about the hiccups.
Oh my god.
Yeah, before you got here, Toby, I was telling the people about the topics that we're gonna discuss about. So yeah, right out of the gate, we've got someone who dropped a comment in our scheduled stream. He said clickbait. I'm gonna put it out there. There you go. John Worry said clickbait. He probably isn't watching this right now. And Toby walks out of the shot again. Uh yeah, I'm gonna go solo again. So yeah, since Toby isn't here, we are gonna go straight into it. Yeah, as I said earlier. So something I find fascinating. I'm gonna talk about. Do we really need to see Dricus Du Plessis versus Robert Whittaker? Well, right about now, it is really pointless to talk about it because it is going to happen. It's next week, and no matter what I say or what we say would never stop it from happening. But in actual sense, which fight in the UFC middleweight is bigger than Dricus Du Plessis versus Israel Adesanya? We really don't want to see another Adesanya versus Whittaker. You know it, and I know it. We would love to see Dricus versus Easy, most especially because the storyline. But then we've been talking about storyline. We've been talking about storyline for the past couple of months. Me specifically, being a pro wrestling fan or a pro wrestling mark, I live and die by storylines, and the storylines that make sense right now in in MMA is Dricus versus Izzy because of how sensitive it got and how petty it got and how we have people online butting heads. We've started to get divisions. Some people are not even fans of Easy, but they are hopping on Easy's wagon. Some are not even fans of Dricus. Dricus Du Plessis, that is DDP. Don't mistake him for Diamond Dallas Page. But yeah, what is most important here for me is the fact that this is going to be an African thing. This is going to be uh something we've never really seen before. Uh when we started this channel, we were basically trying to put African fighters in the microscope because African fighters just started blowing up. When we started this channel, there was no African champion, and we've had like 3 UFC African champions, which is great. And now, for the first time ever, if this actually happens, we're gonna get Easy versus Dricus. So I would say honestly, we did not need a Whittiker versus Dricus fight from an African fan point of view. If you were a fan of Whitaker, I'm sure you would say I'm full of crap because what else is Whitaker got to do? Like, he lost to the champion twice and then he beats everybody else. So I've got Toby back here. Toby, is your connection better this time? I don't think it is. I don't think it is. So yeah, so that's it about my opinion. I would have really loved to hear from Toby about what he thinks if we really, really would need to see Dricus versus Rob, but I think we never really needed to see that fight. If you are saying from a merit point of view, uh, why why would Dricus jump the line and fight Easy, right? That's what you're probably thinking about. Well, we've seen that so many times. With Alex Pereira, we saw that. Alex Pereira did not beat anybody except for Sean Strickland, but Easy wanted to fight him and he got to fight him. So now, if Easy wants to fight Dricus, he would be able to fight Dricus because Dricus at least has beaten Darren Till and Derek Brunson. So, um, yeah, I really think we never really needed to see that fight, but as it has happened, it has happened. We don't have a choice. I'm gonna try one more time. Toby, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Can you hear? Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh my god, finally, yes, I can hear you.
Well, I hope it doesn't go bad again. Well, I was talking about if we really needed to see Dricus versus Rob, but I think I've gone over my points. I'm gonna just for the sake of staying on the Dricus topic, I'm gonna hop into the fight review preview. Sorry. It's fight week this weekend. One of the co-main events. Uh, Dricus still knocks to Plessis versus Robert Whitaker. So quickly, I want you to give me your predictions or how you see this fight going. What do you think is going to happen in this fight?
Uh okay. For me, I think this fight is one of the most difficult fights to call because if we're just comparing their skill set, it's obvious that I think Robert is slightly more, skilled, more talented. Some will say than Dricus, but Dricus is that guy that just always finds a way to, I don't know, come out on top every time. Like, so it's. I think if everything goes as planned, like if everything goes as it is on paper, we should see probably Robert Whitaker, winning that fight. But I mean, you can never write Dricus off. So yeah, he has a lot of doubters, and I believe he can prove them wrong. He can find a way to steal something and give us the fight we want to see.
Yeah, so if you are watching social media, most especially the African MMA sphere closely, you would see that there is like a community of people in South Africa that are overlooking Whitaker and already looking at Easy versus Dricus fight because they feel like they've already beaten Whitaker. I would give you an example. Graham, who is like one of the EFC bosses. Obviously, Whitaker has ties with EFC, and Graham has been really vocal. One of Dricus's coaches too, a legendary coach, if you will, down there in South Africa as well. I saw them calling out Ariel Helwani at some point, but they are overly confident on the skill set of Whitaker. Sorry, of Dricus beating Whitaker. Also, I did see another point that someone was making about Whitaker being too old. Apparently, I don't know what they meant by that. But if you see Dricus winning this fight, Toby, how do you see Dricus will win it? What does Dricus have to do to win this fight, in your opinion?
How do I see it happening? Um, all right. Oof. I think it's going to get scrappy. I think he has to find a way to make the fight as dirty as possible. Just turn it into some kind of slugfest. Because I think if they stand and strike, mm,
All right, so
if it becomes a
I
grappling
lost to.
match, I don't see how Dricus wins. I know he thinks he's a really good grappler, but if you look at all the opponents that Robert Whittiker has come up against and how these guys have not been able to effectively grapple against him, I don't see how he wins a grappling fight against Robert Whittiker. So I think his best chance is to turn it into some kind of thing that we saw with, Derek Bronson, where it's just a slugfest, bite down on your mouth guard and everybody starts swinging. And, that might just be his way, to win this fight.
Yeah, well, to reiterate what Toby is saying, he says Dricus has to make it dirty, he has to make it scrappy. He doesn't need to make it leave it clean because he, well, Toby feels like Dricus's stand up isn't as crisp as Whitaker. But I beg to differ. Dricus has a background in kickboxing, a K1 kickboxer, right? I think because we have not really seen him like put up a striking clinic yet, we seem to like underestimate him. I understand he had a chance to do that with a kickboxer in Darren Till, which they never. Where when we saw them standing in the field, we kind of see like in that exchange, Darren Till was kind of having the advantage. I see that if you make that, if you're under that assumption, I would understand. But I still feel uh you should think about it. How does he always get it done? Obviously, if you constantly call it a fluke at this point, he cannot fluke his way to a title shot, can he? So yeah,
Uh,
with that being
it
said,
depends on, oh, okay. Okay, go on.
yeah, I was going to say well, in the comment section here, we've got a fella, Frederick Hoxenville. He says Whitaker is gonna get chinned. I think that means that Whitaker is gonna get knocked out. Uh, he says Dricus was being pissed by Till on the feet. Yeah, I don't feel Dricus wins until he gets into the same position he was with Tavares. So
Interesting.
yeah, yeah. Well,
You
it
see, you
comes
see. Okay,
down
for me,
to what you said about it being dirty, right? I think that was what happened with Tavares in the Tavares fight, like because we saw Dricos looking a bit tired. They were against the cage, and then some short outbursts. He comes like swinging, and and he. I wouldn't say he got lucky, but he clipped Tavares there. But yeah. Tell me what you think. Ooh,
okay.
have I
So to
lost you
your
again,
point,
Toby?
I don't think Dricos is a bad. I don't think his technique is bad or anything like that. But if you look at Robert Whittaker's career, apart from his matches with, hello, can you hear me? Hello,
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, go ahead.
hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you, bro.
Can you hear me?
Oh,
All right. Okay. So what I was saying is, the thing with Whitaker is the only person that has kind of outstriked him, totally, not even totally, because the last fight was it was closer than most people would have anticipated. So that was easy, And apart from that, I can't really look at anybody who has been able to say, in terms of technicality. I mean, look how easy it was for him to pick apart Vettori. And Vettori is an extremely good fighter. In fact, if you put Vettori in front of Dricos, I'm not entirely sure how that fight goes. Same thing for, fighters like what's his name? I can't recall, but then again, Dricos hasn't fought anybody in the top five yet, and so this is like his first go at it. He beat Strickland. Strickland went against him, chin up and all of. Was he? Yeah, and so I don't necessarily think Dricos is a bad fighter. I just think that Robert Whittaker's technique while standing is really, really good. And he doesn't have the length, like Easy does to really, you know, make it difficult for Whitaker to get into striking range, striking distance. And that's why I just think, I don't think they're on the same level personally, like on when it comes to a striking battle. I think he's really good, Dricus is really good, but I don't think they're on the same level.
I'm just gonna jump in here before we close this chapter. I'm gonna do my predictions, right? I'll get to you to do your prediction as well. So with my prediction, I am predicting a finish by Whitaker will get finished basically by Dricus, but this isn't going to be pretty. This is going to be one of those fights where with I would say Dracos is going to rally to win, not by nothing pretty. Basically, it's just gonna get stopped. I think it's gonna be dirty. It wouldn't look pretty. The grappling will be there, but I think Whitaker wins. Sorry, Dracos wins. Sorry guys, I'm rambling. I'm all around the place. Mostly because Toby's network connection is throwing me off my game today. But I would like to hear your prediction, Toby. What do you think? How
Okay.
do you think it ends?
Okay, for me, I think as much as I want to see a Dracos versus Easy fight, if I go with my head, I think Robert Whitaker will win, and I think he'll probably get a knockout. Say round three, Dracos starts to tire, and then he might just catch something. But if I was to put my money on it, I'll say Robert Whitaker.
Okay, I'm just going to jump in there. So, yeah, what Toby is saying is he basically says Robert Whittaker is going to finish Draco's Plessis. Yeah, and yeah, to the viewers watching, I apologize about the connection. It's not my fault, I promise. It's Toby's connection that isn't working, but yeah, we move. Uh, yeah, speaking about uh Dricus versus Whitaker, we're gonna hop on to another topic, which this is rather another wrinkle in the Dricus Duplessis versus Adesanya storyline, right? So Adesanya, in his interview on Impulsive Podcast, that's the one by Logan Paul, I believe they after he got endorsed or he signed with Prime, um, he talked about sparring easy in Thailand, and he talked about sorry, Easy spoke about sparring Dricus in Thailand, and Adesanya did mention at that time that he hadn't started MMA yet. He was just a kickboxer, and Dricus mentioned in his over counter interview with Schmo, he did mention that he was 3-0 in MMA. So basically, in 2014, Easy hasn't started MMA yet, but Dricus has started and was 3-0. So what Dricus was saying, what Easy was saying was they sparred in grappling and Dricus handled his ass. And when they did the stand up, he picked Dricus apart. But then when Dricus was on Schmo, he confirmed some details of that Easy's claims, but then some details apparently were not accurate according to Dricus. He said yes, they did do the wrestling and the grappling, and he manhandled Easy. Dricus did mention that he was 19 years old at the time as well, and he said they never really sparred striking. So, are you with me, Toby? Are you still there? Oh, yeah, I muted you. Sorry. Yeah. So, yeah. So, what do you think? What do you think? This happened almost 10 years ago. Does it carry any weight right now?
I'm with Sean O'Malley on this one. I think it has absolutely no bearing in what's going to happen if they fight. I mean, it's been so long ago. One guy was basically a kickboxer trying to, wrestle somebody who is doing MMA. Like it was so long ago. It has absolutely nothing to do with what's going to happen if they fight. I think it's just one of those things that help, to create a storyline. If they do fight, if Dracos manages to get the job done. So In terms of what happened then, I'm not even sure I want to know who's lying or what the accurate story is. I'm not sure I care enough to know. That's how irrelevant, what happened back then is. So yeah.
Yeah, it's not about who's lying. So my thing is, if I was a fighter, right, and I do sparring, both Easy and Dricus have probably sparred with 500 fighters each, right? Why do they remember sparring each other? Okay, so let me put it this way. If Dricus remembers sparring Adesanya, I will understand because Adesanya at that point was a popular kickboxer, or would say is like quite popular isk in kickboxing. But then why would Adesanya remember Dricus? What was so vital at that point that he remembered Dricus? Is it because Dricus manhandled him in the grappling that he was like, this person has gotten one on me? But again, I do kind of agree with you. It doesn't really matter. It's too long ago. I would say Dricus himself would say it doesn't matter as well. People have changed people have developed in their sports in the sense that Easy is currently a champion or two-time champion in the UFC, which does not happen by fluke. Dricus, in his own right, double champion EFC, champion in KSW, and obviously undefeated in the UFC. So they have all developed in their own way. Um, I don't think that would be the case if they get to fight again, but I would say this is an incredible wrinkle in the story. Most especially if someone can find footages or just pictures of both of them in Thailand, that would make absolute banger of a cinematic movie. Something like the Bloodline storyline in WWE, something other like something we'll lynch onto. However, we're not falling in the hole of overlooking the fight between Whittiker and Dricus. Obviously, we just hope that Dricus wins. But yeah, that's my 2 cents about it. Toby, do I still have you there, or should I just continue running this thing solo?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but you're frozen. But yeah, so do you have anything you'd want to say about the manhandling situation before we move to the next one?
Well, I just find it kind of like funny why, you know, someone who is professionally, like at the time he was just kickboxing. So for them to have had a sparring session where it was strictly grappling, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, whatever it is, like it kind of like shows you where Easy was at that time. He was already thinking of, crossing over to MMA. So I believe um that's why he
Pause, my
remembers it
brother. Pause,
because
pause, pause, pause.
it
We have
was
we
if it
have
was
the and yo, if you can stop for a minute, let us acknowledge the presence of the answer Temba Gorimbo in our comment section. He dropped a laughing emoji. He's probably laughing at our banter. But shout out to Temba Gorimbo, man. Really, really appreciate you, Papa. Uh Toby, go ahead. All right. All right. Connection issues as usual. Toby is frozen like Elsa. And we are gonna go to the next topic, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna talk about Francis the Predator Ngannou. So Francis Ngannou this week revealed a new MMA gym, sort of like an MMA arena, on his Instagram page. This is something that is from development from the Francis Ngannou Foundation. Prior to this, Francis Ngannou had opened a gym in his local village of Bati, but this time the arena
okay.
and gym is located in Douala, Cameroon. I believe that should be one of the big cities just after Yaoundé. So for the launch of the event, Francis Ngannou was there. Uh, there was also a fight night that happened. It was live streamed on the Facebook channel. It was good to see. I think he has partners with some sponsors. He is partnered with some sponsors. I believe it's called Premium Bets. Uh, to understand what I'm talking about, you probably would not go need to go check Francis Ngannou's page. You also should also remember that Francis Ngannou is also the chairman of PFL Africa. So whatever this is will probably tie into that. Um, now, Francis Ngannou's got a promotion running for MMA and a gym as well with an arena. Or I should say, it's kind of looks like a hall, sort of like a hall. And Kamaru Usman has something going on in Nigeria as well, AKO. So I would say it's really good to see these guys giving back. I would have loved to hear what Toby's take is on the Francis Ngannou situation with regards to the gym. If you haven't seen this, you probably need to go take a look on his Instagram page. You would see pictures of the said event. And if you still want to check some more, you go on the Facebook channel. You would see the live stream of the first event. Some interesting fights going on in there. Some belts as well. Toby, are you good?
Yep.
All right. So we've got Toby now. I think his connection has gotten better. We just spoke about the launch of the MMA gym by Francis Ngannou, and next, I'm not gonna stay on that one. We're gonna go to Tyson Fury versus Francis Ngannou rumored to be the next exhibition fight. All right, so what's the name of
Eddie Hearn.
Anthony Joshua's? Can you hear me? What's the name of Anthony
Eddie Hearn. Eddie
Joshua's
Hearn.
manager? Yeah, Eddie Hearn. Yeah. So Eddie Hearn was on some interview. I can't remember which one exactly, and he was talking about Francis Ngannou versus Tyson Fury. That there is a rumor that Francis Ngannou versus Tyson Fury would be an exhibition fight that has no knockdowns, sort of like one of those gimmicky fights that they sort of do for charity, something like that Mike Tyson did a bit or quite back. And for this rumor to come out from the mouth of Eddie Hearn, it sounds like this information is pretty accurate, or I should say it's very serious. So we should take it with a pinch of salt, but we should also take it serious as well. I could just read from a publication here. His rival asking about social media rumors, Fury versus Ngannou. Hearn told Boxing Special, "Yes, I believe so. This is what I have heard. It will be an exhibition. Apparently, no knockdowns or anything. I don't know. I'm only telling you what I've heard. Who knows what's what? But I think this is apparently what is gonna be the next fight. Disappointing, but it is what it is. It's a big event, but I wanted to see him fight Usyk. It would be nice to get an undisputed champion, but Tyson in charge of his own career, but blah 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 blah." So basically he's gonna ramble about Tyson ducking Usyk or whatever. But this would be a huge payday for Ngannou, right? And I don't think this is what anybody wants to see. Because it's going to be like a boxing fight that is going to have so many rules about punches in the head or damage. If knockdowns are not there, and Francis Ngannou being the heaviest hitter in the UFC heavyweights or in the MMA heavyweights, what are we doing then? Because that means that Tyson Fury is just going to dance around Francis Ngannou the whole fight, because Francis Ngannou cannot use the one weapon he possesses, which is power. What do you think?
Uh, oof. I don't even. First of all, I want to look at this from Ngannou's angle. I don't even think this is what he wants. To be fair, I don't think this is what he needs. People have been taking him, or we're beginning to take, his idea of venturing into a boxing ring seriously. And I think this thing they want to put together with Tyson Fury kind of makes a mockery of all of that, and gives more life to what Dana was saying as it being a gimmick fight and all of that. But first of all, for all boxing fans around the world, we are so disappointed because we've been trying to get a unified, heavyweight champion for a minute now, and it has not happened. Mostly due to Fury's antics, but I think this one is going to happen. The fight with Francis will happen. Eddie Hearn is somebody who knows a lot about what is going on in the boxing space. The rumors were flying even before the interview, but the interview just gave it a little bit more life. And I saw somewhere that it's going to be announced, I think next week or in 2 weeks' time. So apparently they're serious about it. But I don't think this is what Ngannou needs basically if he's going to like serious with the boxing thing.
Yeah. Um. Well, I think right now Ngannou is serious with the money, bro. So I think this would be something that, that he would like. Uh. Well, I don't know who are talking about this, but if it's in the UK, I would love to go see it. But if it's in Saudi, it will be better for Ngannou because that the payday will be like bigger than what it would be here.
Well, okay, let me ask you a
But
quick question. Would you want to
mm,
see it because of the event or because you're looking forward to the fight? Most people will just be there because it's a big event. Everybody wants to see it, but I don't
yes,
think you.
yes, it's sort of like going to a WWE show just to see the entrances of the wrestlers. You are
Yeah,
just there. You are just there to see John Cena walk out, ding, 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 and that's it. You don't care about anything else. So if
okay.
Francis Ngannou and Tyson Fury are going to do the exhibition fight, which we don't understand what the rules are yet, or if it's gonna happen or whatever. If I go see that fight, I'm not going for the love of boxing. I'm going to see my African brother, and I'm going to go see a legend in boxing in Tyson Fury, and tell my kids that I was there. so,
That's not what boxing fans
so
want.
yeah, we just have to make do with what we've got. So, yeah, speaking about that, we just jump into the last topic, which is our Angolan brother, Starboy Manel Cap. Starboy Manel Cap announced on his Instagram page that he's got a new UFC deal. I'm gonna read the article, or not really an article, his post. He says, I just signed a new deal, a new huge contract with UFC. This contract means how much this company appreciates and values my talent and my work. Many thanks to my manager and brother Ali Abdulaziz for for making this happen. Thank you, Mick Maynard, for the respect and appreciation. Time to be a legend again. And then he put 6 zeros. 6 zeros. So that is hints that the contract might be or a 6-digit contract. Well, speaking about Manel Cap, I would say he isn't really happy this year because he's got like 3 fights back to back to back that all fell off. Those are, as a fighter, you don't get paid until you fight. So I'm sure that he's take a hit from that, and I think the new contract is be a nice compensation for him to get his life back in track once he gets a fight. There's been a fight rumored between him and Kaikara France, which would likely happen in Australia, but that's a long time from now. But if the contract with this contract, I think it'll be worth the wait. But yeah, shout out to Manuel Capo. Really happy for you. What do you think, Toby?
Yeah, yeah. You said it will be worth the wait. If he wins, let's just put that in there. Um, I think it's get paid season for a lot of Africans around the world. Basically, we're seeing even the NBA guys are getting paid. Everybody's getting paid. So yeah, good for him. I kind of feel sorry for.
If you want to plug the NBA properly, plug your boy Namdi Gabe Vincent just signed with the Lakers 33 million for 3 years. That's about 11 million a year.
That's a
Huge deal.
bag. Chimezie
Yeah,
Metu
yeah,
is
yeah.
getting a bag. A couple of people are getting paid.
Chimezi Metu was just how much is it? I can't remember.
I don't know, but I
He's got
think
signed with Phoenix, right?
yeah,
Him and
yeah.
Josh Okogie is going back to Phoenix. Sorry guys.
Okogie is
Sorry.
yeah. So
Sorry.
you know, a
Yeah,
lot of
so
Africans are getting paid.
shout out Manel Cap. Would love to see you get back in there, Starboy. The only UFC fighter to ever hit a shoo in the UFC octagon. If you know what the shoo is, you know what I'm talking about. That's like one of the goated celebrations in the history of sports. So yeah, shout out to our boy
In the
Manel Cap.
history of
This
celebrations,
Yo, bro, this has been horrible again. Second week in a row, your connection is messing up. You've got to do something about this.
I
Okay?
definitely do. Yeah,
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, again, we apologize about this. This conversation would have gone smoothly if this guy was had a better connection. But this has been fun. Make sure you like, subscribe, do all the good things for the African fighters. But before we go, Toby, what's up? You've got anything to plug?
Uh just want to apologize to all the people listening and watching, for the bad connection. We're working on it. Hopefully it's fixed by next week. Um have a wonderful week.
All right, guys. See you next.
Come on, Africans!